The Zika story from the start. John, there is a new case of infection in Miami-Dade, but not in the community where the other infections were discovered. What does that mean?
Well, it's a non-travel related case. And the question is it an isolated case or does it represent a new cluster? We already know there's a hotspot of Zika infection. And what they're going to have to do is exactly what they did before. Go door to door and figure out, are there people who are infected with Zika who don't realize it? If there are, then they're going to have to go in there and do exactly what they did before. They're going to have to get rid of the freestanding water. They're going to have to use insecticide both outside the house and inside the house, and also put down larvicide, because once the mosquitoes are killed, you have the larvae they can hatch, so you have to kill those too.
And there's the question that remains. What about the $1.9 billion that the president has requested, but the Congress has not authorized?
My colleagues in the health profession are beside themselves about this, because imagine a place like Florida, which is relatively well funded and has a lot of experience taking care of mosquitoes and things like that. What happens if there's an infection along the Gulf Coast in a small town that doesn't have the kind of resources that Miami has? They may not even pick up the fact that there is an infection. And if there is an infection, then will they have the resources to really be able to go after it, go after the local mosquito population and get it all under control? We're talking about a mosquito-borne illness that causes birth defects. And for some reason, Congress can't get it together to allocate new funding.
Money that could make a difference. Thank you, John.
Thanks.
If you have questions about Zika and how to protect yourself, we have a lot of information on our website. Go to cbsnews.com/Zika.
Abby, more victims are expected to be in that Miami region. There are 338 cases of Zika here in Florida, and now Congress is on recess without approving funds for that fight of the virus. Governor Rick Scott has said he's disappointed Congress did not approve funding before going on break.
You can actually eliminate standing water, which mosquitoes very vigorously procreate there. The other way is by killing the larvae with larvicides, with insecticides, spraying either with backpack type spraying or even aerial spraying. So they're putting a full court press on that right now.
Dr. Fauci does not believe there will be a widespread outbreak like we've seen in Brazil, but he says we could see more areas like Miami where it stayed sustained for a while. Now, 5 CDC emergency response team members are now here in Florida. 3 more will be arriving tomorrow to help with the response.
Unloaded boxes of insect repellent after announcing 10 new cases of the Zika virus in the Miami area. That brings the total number to 14. The CDC is advising pregnant women to not travel to the area since Zika can cause devastating birth defects.
We're advising pregnant women not to travel to this 1-mile area north of downtown Miami, and for pregnant women who live or work in that area to do everything possible to prevent mosquito bites.
Among the new cases, 6 had no symptoms. The cases were identified because health officials have been going door to door in the same Miami neighborhood where the first 4 cases were found. Governor Rick Scott hammered home the #1 way to prevent the mosquitoes that spread Zika from breeding.
No standing water, and then no standing water. No standing water in your house, no standing water around your house.
We may get some more clusters here and there. And once again, each one of those will require a very brisk, comprehensive response.
Now Florida is calling on the CDC to help its mosquito control efforts.
Hello, my name's Howard Carter. I'm a mosquito expert, and I'm here today to talk about DEET. DEET melts plastics. DEET will pass through the epidermal membrane, the skin. It goes into the blood system, and it's been proven to alter the DNA in both mammals and humans. Vincent Corbell's research has shown that DEET is even more dangerous when used in combinations with certain other substances, such as in insecticides. There has a synergistic reaction, which effectively means that if you use DEET with, say, an insecticide, then it multiplies the actual danger. So the very act of just simply you eating an apple which has been sprayed with an insecticide, and then I've got DEET on my hands at the same time, that could cause serious problems.
Hey guys, I have a bushcraft tip that I learned the hard way. Be very careful if you use Repel, Mosquito Stop, clothing and gear, insect repellent. It says do not apply to the skin, and they really mean it. I've had no problems using this product when I apply it to my boots, and even when I'm wearing the boots, no problem at all. But last week, when I went mountain bike camping, instead of wearing my heavy boots, I wore my sneakers. And like usual, I sprayed the product on my sneakers while I was wearing them. No problem at all for the first 24 hours. And then I noticed a little bit of itchiness. And now it's a whole nother story. I've got this huge rash, big blisters that are oozing and they sting. I think I'm over the worst of it and it should get better from now. But apparently this product will go through something like sneakers and socks and get onto your skin. And so be very careful with it. Don't get it close to your skin at all. A lesson learned the hard way. Now you get a chance to see what the rash actually looks like. This isn't for the squeamish. Don't use Repel Mosquito Stop clothing and gear spray, insect repellent, while you're wearing your clothing or your shoes or your socks. It'll go right through your shoes and socks, and this is what happens. A lesson learned the hard way.
The parent company of Terminix has agreed to pay $87 million to a Delaware family that was poisoned by a banned pesticide last year during a Caribbean vacation. Benita Nair reports the family may suffer lifelong effects.
The Esmonds' nightmare started last March when the family of four was exposed to toxic pesticides in this Virgin Islands villa. The pesticide was methyl bromide, an odorless chemical that was banned for residential use in 1984. Terminix was fumigating the property just below the Esmonds. They were vacationing at the Siren USA Villa on the island of St. John. 16 months later, Stephen Esmond is paralyzed, unable to speak, and battling tremors. His wife, Teresa, who suffered seizures, has improved and is looking after their two sons, who can barely move.
It's highly acutely toxic, and at very low levels, it has chronic effects.
Jay Feldman is the executive director of Beyond Pesticides.
The bottom line here is that just because EPA slapped a label on a product and told the pest control industry, you shall not use this in residences, doesn't mean that the law will be followed. We need much more control over how these chemicals are allowed into the environment.
Court documents showed Terminix knowingly used methyl bromide on the St. John property twice. They admitted to spraying the banned pesticide at a total of 14 locations, including residential villas in St. Croix and St. Thomas. Under the terms of the $87 million settlement, they will also pay $10 million in criminal fines.
Terminix